and matching glass. So.
Oh, nice. So, speaking of, what do you have there in your glass, Matt?
That is some almond nog, not eggnog. I love the lower sugar, variety almond nog they have out there. So, and of course, a little bit of booze in it.
I was gonna say Almond Nog. There's not a lot of. Is there as much fat in it as
No,
regular
no,
eggnog?
nope, not as much fat, not as much sugar. It's in four, which I always love this. I love the serving size in eggnogs, 4 ounces. It's never 8 ounces. It's 4 ounces.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We,
but like in 4 ounce in a 4 ounce serving, it's 50 calories versus eggnog. It's what, like 190, I think.
yeah, I wouldn't be able to say it off the top of my head. I'm not a huge fan of eggnog. Um, I like the stuff that goes in eggnog.
Yeah, this has got a shot of whiskey and a shot of rum in it. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. Uh, so, for those of you out there listening to this podcast, this is coming out the Friday before Christmas. And as that holiday is celebrated around the world, we know there's many other holidays celebrated around the world in this time. Something like 90 something holidays that are celebrated during the month of December, like around the world. I can't remember the exact stat there. But either way, if you are celebrating during the month of December, there's likely to be some kind of drink that goes along with it.
Absolutely. That's why it's the most wonderful time of the year.
Let's see. And so if you are searching for like holiday cocktails, most often you'll find quote unquote Christmas cocktails as the thing that comes up. Like Matt is saying there, eggnog with some kind of booze in it is typically associated with this time of year. And there are many other cocktails. Let's see. The I guess there must holiday count I saw must have been different, but the interfaith calendar lists 14 religious holidays for the month of December. So 14 religious ones, probably 40 something
Yeah, it's yeah,
non-religious.
yeah, just 14 religious ones is enough. That's a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, would Festivus count as a non-religious holiday? Because
I
that's
think I think it's very religious. That's
oh, okay. Well, I mean, I guess it all depends on how you take part in it. What qualifies something as religious? That's a different discussion for a different time.
it's a
We,
completely different podcast.
yeah. So Matt has some almond nog over there. I, for those of you watching the video form of the podcast, I am just getting home from work while we record this, so I didn't have time to make a cocktail. So instead, I have a beer,
There you go.
holiday ale.
Yeah.
I don't mind shouting out this company, New Belgium. This is their limited release holiday ale. It says flavors of cranberry and spice and everything nice, and it is delicious.
That
Conven-
sounds really good.
Conveniently in a red, green, and gold can.
Yeah, I
So
always think of cranberry when I think of like Christmas holiday drinks. I think of cranberry based stuff. Like it to me it seems tropical any other time, but for December, if cranberry to me, it's like, oh, all of a sudden it's Christmassy.
yeah, it is weird. I think of nutmeg when I think about Christmas
Yeah,
spice.
it makes sense. Yeah, stick
Yeah.
that in the eggnog sometimes. Just cinnamon in this one now. But
Yeah, a little bit on top, a little bit of sprinkle of
uh,
cinnamon, a
uh,
little bit of sprinkle of nutmeg. So, one thing we wanted to talk about here, though, is no matter what holiday you're celebrating, we hope that you all have a wonderful one spent with family, friends, thinking about the times and things you should celebrate and the joys that you should have with each other, and not worrying about your diet or fitness on this time.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about in the past of like having some small strategies for holidays. I know we've done Thanksgiving, but also at the same time, like enjoy the day off. Because for most people, it's it's gonna be a day or at most 7 days. It's like enjoy the camaraderie, enjoy the people, enjoy the food, enjoy the drink. And don't think of the exercise portion, the fitness portion as being punitive. I think that's key too. Like I like working out Christmas morning. I get up, go to the gym Christmas morning, but it's not, oh, I'm making myself do it. Oh, it's because I'm going to eat all this junk. Oh, it's because I had a vacation. No, it's because I want to and because I'm thankful that I can do that. So don't view it as like this punishment thing, and don't view that you have to, hey, because you had some sausage balls and some Christmas tree cakes, like you have to go, run for 4 hours on the treadmill now.
Yeah, there are plenty of eating disorders out there. Don't let this become one of them, right? So there is a thing called um, relative energy deficit syndrome, where that's REDS, that classically used to be the female athlete triad as a part of that. And then they expanded it to that, where people, they found that males were doing stuff too. So they couldn't call it the female athlete triad. So they had these other markers in it, or males and females all like purposefully restricting their intake based off of their exercise. And uh, there are issues in that while you may feel quote unquote healthy and people may support it, it is not healthy to restrict your food intake simply based off of how much you're going to expend. That is not a healthy relationship with food. I literally just talked about a eating disorder diagnosis that goes with it. That should be refrained upon from more thinking about all things related to holidays and times that you should be celebrating. It's okay to go off your diet plan and fitness plan for a day. It's not
Right.
going to harm you.
I always tell people you're not gonna make great strides in a single day with new good habits. You're not gonna ruin all the progress you've made over time with one day of quote bad habits.
Yeah. And after this week, we'll go back to our fat loss plan track. So you guys can jump back in that after you holidays. We've talked about before when it's habits, 3 days of a break. So if you did Festivus, Christmas Eve, and Christmas, that's 3 days. If you did Christmas Eve, Christmas, and the day after Christmas, that's 3 days. Whatever way you want to break it up, if you get back to your habit after that 3 day span, you're going to be okay.
Yeah. You're
Just
not,
don't
yeah,
let it
you're
go
not,
longer than three.
that's kind of the snowball effect of like, oh, okay, well, I had those 3 days. I can just go ahead. And I think this time of year that is the issue is that you'll get a lot of people that will snowball out. It's like, well, I can just put it off till New Year's Day when everybody else starts their stuff.
Yeah.
Anybody that's ever worked with me as a client knows. No, do something today. Don't put it off because the calendar's telling you to do it. Then, like, go ahead and be proactive now.
All right. I'm going to share this on the screen real fast. I'll put the link in the show notes. I want to show people this. This is from Food and Wine magazine or foodandwine.com. These are the 24 winter holiday cocktails that they recommend you
Ooh,
try.
mulled wine. I had some mulled wine a couple of weeks ago. I happened upon a Christmas market in Atlanta as I was just like out and about, like waiting for a concert. I had mulled wine. It was fantastic.
Yeah. The best way that I found to mull wine is with a crock pot, like because it has to be warmed up. The issue on a stovetop is not consistently even heating. You can make it too hot. You can like boil it off, which would be bad. But in a crock pot,
I think the crock pot's like one of the greatest inventions ever. Like it's so easy for your nutrition needs, and obviously now so easy for your mulled wine needs as well.
yeah. And in this version of the mold wine that I have here, it's infused with nutmeg, vanilla, star anise, and um, your glass is sweetened with honey and maple syrup
Oh, that
to
sounds
help
really
balance
good.
all that. And the garnishes with an orange and cranberry. So, back to all the themes of things. But my favorite recipe off of here, I'm going to scroll down real quick because I saw it earlier, is it's not that one. Homemade eggnog's on here, of course.
I made homemade eggnog last year. Like I didn't enjoy the taste of it as much as I do like the bottled stuff, but for trying it on my own, like I gave it like a solid like B minus.
Okay. So my favorite one on here is the um, Apple Brandy hot toddies.
Oh, I'm all for a hot toddy.
Yeah, I feel like a hot toddy is a simple drink that most anybody can make. And at this time of year, if you live in the northern hemisphere, it's going to be cold, probably, unless you're like really close to the equator. But most people that I have seen or listening to our podcast don't live really close to the equator. So, um, either way, a hot toddy is a simple drink. Um, it is most often I see a hot toddy with rum. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, rum or whiskey. I've seen whiskey before too.
Right.
That's how I'll make them.
Yeah. And so this uses apple brandy, which I will say I do not have a lot of. But traditional hot toddy is made with boiling water, whiskey, honey, lemon juice, and or zest, and a cinnamon stick. So that all makes sense. Like I said, I'm used to seeing it with like rum. And that's probably just because I was like a broke college student for a long period of time. Although I
Yeah,
guess you could get cheap whiskey.
I've made it with apple whiskey before too, like apple Canadian whiskey, which is fantastic as well.
Right. And allegedly, hot toddies are a good cold remedy.
Oh yeah, I
Uh,
always love that. Like I know there's no science behind it, but yeah, if I don't feel well, I'm like, I want a hot toddy. It's an excuse to drink while I'm sick.
yeah, I was gonna say you'll feel slightly better, but it won't actually relieve your cold symptoms at all. Um, but there are a multitude of things. I also like that this is the time for champagne punches. So basically, um, champagne with a bunch of fruit. You can put it in a bowl or anything like that. You pour champagne over it. You let it sit for a little bit. Then the champagne is infused. You serve it in a ladle into a glass. It doesn't. It's not as fizzy as champagne in your glass by yourself, but
Ooh, I've got
it's
champagne
still
in the
done.
fridge right now. You may have given me an idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I've done something similar recently of doing like some different fruit juices and just like ginger ale and like putting a little bit of rum in it. And yeah, it's kind of that same nice fizzy, of course, cranberry based, like we're talking about.
yeah, you could do like if you had a bunch. Do you have You could do like a French 75 that uses lemon
Yeah,
juice and
yeah, those are
champagne.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then anything that has ginger or like nutmeg in it, we mentioned before. So, like Goldschlager is a good use for the cinnamon that's in there and has the gold flakes in it, so it can make your Christmas drink look fancy. I always said
And
that
it also makes your vomit look fancy as well. Like that's the best part.
it's true if you have too much of it, Matt. Uh, but Goldschlager and Sprite taste like Christmas. So, like, put those two things
Oh,
together.
oh God, you used to say that all the time. Like, yeah, like 15 years ago. Like that's like
It's
that's college Ryan coming out. Yeah.
it's still true though. It's probably like I think I have a bottle of Goldschlager probably from 5 or 6 Christmases ago, and I'll have it this Christmas as well because it
God,
is a Christmas drink.
I have not had Goldschlager probably in 15 years. Like, all right,
This
that's
is the
enough.
last time you were near my house
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Christmas.
yeah, yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. Uh, but there are also a multitude of beers out there that are Christmas style drinks. I just showed you I have this holiday ale. There, it's called a Christmas ale as a kind of drink, and there's also a holiday ale as a style of beer that's made. You'll see that they have um, some kind of spice note with it, whether it's cinnamon spice or nutmeg, and it will be warm as you drink it. But the warmth is not from the spice. The warmth is from the amount of alcohol that's in it. It's usually a higher ABV, like 7 or 8% kind of thing. And so it's called a winter warmer, quote unquote. So um, the Old Fezziwig is one that's out there from Sam Adams. You can get that. That's a really good one. I like this one from New Belgium, and then there's one other one I can't remember what it is. So the can's really nice though. But any other fun holiday cocktails you like, Matt?
I mean, that's kind of my main thing. Like, I like doing, it's different punches and stuff. Because I always think, like, even, as a kid, you would go to like the, holiday parties and Christmas parties, you'd have some sort of punch, and kind of doing similar with that, with adding booze. But yeah, eggnog is my be all end all. I always joke that, like, any other time of year, I'm not gonna just drink like sugar and fat and stick booze in it. But as soon as it's like December 1st, like, yeah, it seems like a good idea. I'll just go ahead and just start chugging this and go from there.
Yeah, man, so many good choices. Those of you out there listening to the podcast, let us know, what was your holiday cocktail of choice? On the other side of things, after Christmas is over, we're going to start moving into the new year of things. We're going to discuss some of our nutrition and fitness goals that Matt and I have for ourselves when we get back into the new year. So this will be after all of our series on fat loss, putting together your own fat loss plan. You'll start seeing us talk about that. We're going to start trying to do a little bit more things, get you guys a little bit more involved. We want to see more of you and talk with more of you and see what we can do to better provide things that you want to hear and do. So stay tuned to the podcast. You're going to hear all of the updates as we move along through those things. Follow us on all the social media stuff. We're Franchise Nutrition and Fitness, or Franchise NF. You can find us at franchisenf.com. Sign up for your free meet and greet if you haven't already, so we can work with you on putting together your plan to help you reach your goals. But like we say every week, maximize every bite,
Maximize every row.